What's up, folks, and welcome to Indie Ramble. So, I got another roguelite for you today, and I know we cover a lot of those around these parts, but this one is something special, even in terms of this genre that I really like. And I actually have had access to this for a little while now, but it's one of those games where I kept saying, okay, I think I'm ready to make a video now, and then I was like, no, there's still more to this. I'm still uncovering more stuff. I'm not ready to yet, but I decided it was finally time to go for it. So this is Patch Quest, and it's a game that was apparently in development for the better part of 7 years by a solo dev. And when you see everything that this game has going on, you will be probably as amazed as I was that this is made by one person. It's stunning, honestly. So, it is a roguelite, but it's also a Metroidvania. It's also got some bullet hell elements. It's a monster collecting game. It's a whole bunch of things. And you may think, when there's that many genres involved, that how is this thing not going to spread itself too thin? And I thought that too. But the way this all fuses together really showcases the talent on display here by this developer. So I'm going to show you this here. So it does have local co-op, which is always nice. It has support for all different third-party controllers, which is nice. A lot of games don't do this. It does recommend playing with a controller. So you have a lot of different options there, which I really like. And then, so when you start off, you go to your home base here. Now you're going to see a bunch of different flora and fauna in here. All of these are things that I captured out in the world, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You can fully customize the appearance of this if you want. Has no functional benefit, but I know a lot of people like to do that. It's not really my jam, so, you know, that's why this just looks kind of disheveled here. But, you know, it's something you can do nonetheless. And I also have these pets here, and that, of course, e-game mechanic, you can actually pet them all. We'll explain how that works as well. The core of this is that you're an explorer who's come onto this weird uninhabited island that's got a bunch of different creatures and treasures and things on it, and you're basically trying to explore and learn, you know, and learn about it. There's more to it than that, but that's the core of it. So this is the map here. Now this may not look that big, but don't be put off by that, because the levels are very big ratio-wise compared to this map. So you can travel through a lot of levels and not necessarily go as far as you think on the map. This game is quite big. There's also a second area that's sort of an underground area as well. And, well, check this out. So these are all the different creatures in the game. These are all the different, well, flora, but it's, you know, they call them pins because this game has this very patchwork, almost Paper Mario-like style to it. There's treasures, there's notes, and this is where the game's true strength comes in. So I'm going to embark here. So there's multiple different biomes and then biomes within those biomes, but you can start off at any of the core ones that you've unlocked. So you'll start off in the jungle one, and finding a biome doesn't mean that you can start there. You actually have to unlock its shortcut to your base. So you can see I've done 3 of 4 there, and that will allow you to start off in the different zones that you want. So I'm going to fire up here, and I'm going to show you the really insane part about this game. So you'll go around. The game has a little bit of a Binding of Isaac feel to it in the way that the levels are self-contained and you're sort of dealing with mobs of enemies within that, though the levels are quite a bit more than one screen, as you can see here. And this is the nutty part. So you've got all these different enemies, right? And you can either take them out, or you have this lasso that you can extend. And if you can encircle the enemy, which sometimes you'll have to do more than once depending on its size, you turn it into a mount. You can mount every single creature in the game, and every single creature in the game has different weapons and abilities that you can level up to 4 times. You have a dodge-focused ability, 2 offensive abilities, and then sort of an uber ability that you can only use once per section. You know, once per individual part of the level, I guess you'd say. Every single one is different. There are no 2 creatures that are alike. They all play different. They're mechanically very different. Some have benefits in certain environments that others don't have. Every creature that you ride, you can send back to camp as a pet. You can only keep 1 of each kind. But any creatures that you sent back as a pet, you can summon in not as a mount, but as a sort of passive defender that will follow you around. And provide extra bonuses, and when they run out of health, they just go back to base, and you can't use them again for that run. But they don't die. Your pets don't die in this, thankfully. And yeah, you can capture every single creature and level them up and use all their different abilities. It's crazy. The creatures vary a huge amount. It's not just like, you know, palette swaps on the same model over and over. No, every creature is completely different and plays completely different. There's also multiple types of ammo in the world that you can pick up, which you can switch between here. As you can see, they all take the form of plants. If you send these back to your home base, you can start with them if you like. There's also these little sort of smaller creatures in the world which you can't actually mount, but you can pick them up and use them as sort of a secondary, sort of a passive enemy, I guess, that can help you out as well. And your character has a number of different stats, which you see there on the left side. You can level each of these up individually. There's also shrines that allow you to do different things as well. There's different what's called suggested goals, which is just a little nudge. So you can approach this in any number of different ways, but the suggested goals are just kind of like, hey, are you not sure what you need to do? Well, you know, maybe go do this. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's just to help keep you on the path if you're a little unsure what you should be doing there, which I think is cool. So there, my summon pet ran out of hit points, so it returned to base, and I can't use him again for the rest of this particular run. So, you see there, in addition to your health, if you look in the upper right, your mount also has a certain amount of energy. Now, enemies will sometimes drop additional energy that you can pick up for them to keep them going, but the longer you use them, and especially if you use their abilities, they will eventually get tired, and when they run out, they will disappear. And you either have to grab another creature, or you're just running around on your own. So, that's a thing you have to be mindful of as well. And as you can see here, as you progress through, the monsters will get stronger. You'll have a little bit of arena battles like this where you're contained to a single screen, and you have to deal with them that way. When you start this off, you may think that this game is relatively easy, but it definitely ramps up. And the further you get into things, the harder it's going to get, and the more that you're going to have to deal with in terms of both the environment and the creatures that you're going to encounter. So as you explore as well, you get the opportunity to capture pins, which is what that little icon at the top is. It kind of looks like an old Atari joystick. So when you hover over an object, like you see here, you see how there's that pin icon, but it's gray. That means that I've already captured that pin. Now, if you want, for the purposes of customizing your base, you can capture multiples of the same pin if you want. But if you're looking to just fill out your journal, then you can, if the pin shows up as gold, then that means you haven't captured that object. So if you want to hold on to it until you get, you're able to get something that you particularly want, then you can do that too. So when you clear out certain areas, there's also a fast travel option. This allows you to sort of skip forward and skip screens. So this is a mini boss here. You don't have to actually take out all the creatures in a given screen in order to move on. You might want to, because that allows you to, level things up, level up your creatures and whatnot. But there are times when it may make more sense to just, sort of run through it and move on and not worry about it. So you do have that option. You don't have to grind your way through every screen on subsequent runs if you don't want to, though you will potentially, you could potentially be shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, no pun intended here, if you do that. So that's something to keep in mind. There we go. So I got this guy. There we go. So he dropped a bunch of stuff, including a giant healing item, which is always cool. And I'm going to take you up into a different biome here so that you guys can see that. So the thing about this game that is just really astonishing to me is the sheer amount of variety. There are so many creatures. There are so many different... a couple of things here I don't have. Awesome. There are so many creatures. There's so many different enemies. They all play different. There's so much stuff to see. There's a bunch of little challenges throughout the world. There's all the different plants to collect. There's the base to customize. There's pets to keep and manage. There's so much in here. And the map is fairly large. There's a lot of exploration to do. You don't have to capture everything and whatnot in order to finish the game, obviously, but if you want to do that, then there is a huge pile of hours in this game. So if you're one of those people who has a limited gaming budget and really needs something, and for whom the value calculation of time versus money is really important to you, this is a game makes a very compelling argument for that, because there's so much that you can do in it, and if you want 100% it is a commitment. You know, it's going to take a lot of time. And what I like about it is that it's very good. One of the reasons I came to really enjoy the roguelite genre is because a good roguelite is always drip feeding new things at you. For starters, you never feel that a run is wasted, because every run you get a little bit stronger, you gain some more stuff, and you're able to do more, and your subsequent runs get easier. So you feel like you're really accomplishing something. And a good roguelite is always drip feeding you new stuff. It's always making sure that you have something new and to experience, something new to explore, and just something that you haven't done before. And this one is fantastic at that. It is constantly drip feeding you new things. You know, if you have a certain mount that you really like using, and you want to focus on that, on using that mount all the time, you can, if you want. If you want to experience all the different creatures and learn everything that they can all do for you, you can do that too, if you want. There's just so much, and there's always something new to experience, and it's all... You don't have to, you know, if you like to min-max a particular thing, well, you can do that. I'm going to send this guy back to base, actually. There we go. If you want to experience new things all the time, you can do that. If you want to min-max something in particular, you can do that. And the game fully supports the ability to do either of those things. And it's not leading you by the nose down a specific path. It's very much a play your way kind of thing. And to have everything that this has in it, and to have it be so well balanced, and that it all works together so well, and that it supports all these different play styles, and then at the end of it, to learn that this is made by largely one person is stunning. There are a lot of good indie devs out there. I have covered a lot of fantastic indie games on this channel, but I think a single dev who can make anything on their own is a person who operates at a different level than I do. But to see an indie dev who is able to make something this deep, this complex, that works this well, that runs this well, that looks this well, or looks this good, and has this amount of content and depth to it, that's something special, and that's a next level accomplishment, I think. And it's not that this game has gotten no attention. It does have a player base and a community, but it really hasn't gotten the amount of attention I think it should have, given everything that it does. And I'm hoping this video puts the game on some other people's radar, because this is really not just a great accomplishment, it's great fun. The more I play it, the more enamored I get with it. And funny enough, I'm a person who usually finishes most of the games I start, but roguelites are one exception to that. Much as I love the genre, there are very few that I've actually finished. This is one I probably will actually finish. I will probably actually put the time to get through this entirely, because I just enjoyed it so much. And it can be suited to shorter sessions, kind of. You can end your run at any time, and any pins and whatnot you've collected will stay with you, which is nice. Though you can't, stop in the middle of a quest and then go back to exactly where you were. It doesn't allow that. But it is very accommodating to different styles of play and different types of players in a way that has really, really surprised me. The game is only on PC right now, to my great surprise. This would obviously be a fantastic Steam Deck game, perfect for that. It probably can run on relatively lo-fi machines as well, but this needs to come to consoles. I mean, this on the Switch would be absolutely spot on. And even just on the other consoles too, because it supports local co-op, so this would be a great opportunity for that. This is a game I might be able to get my girlfriend into. a little bit, because she would have a hard time playing something like this on her own, but with someone else, I could see her quite enjoying it, actually. And it's just been an incredible surprise. This might be one of my top indies of this year at this point, honestly, and I was really not expecting that. When I looked at this before I got the code for it, I didn't think it was going to be bad. I was like, yeah, this looks like a very nicely polished, well-made game, and I think I'll probably enjoy it, and I'll be like, hey, here's another roguelite for the repertoire, you know? But this one really goes beyond that, and everything about it just feels incredibly polished and made by someone with not only incredible talent, but incredible passion for it. It mashes multiple different genres and inspirations together in a way that I frankly think not a lot of people could make work this well, but this dev did. And in terms of time versus money, you know, again, there's a lot of people say there's too much discussion of that a game isn't worth its asking price if it's not a certain number of hours. And yes, that can be reductive, but I think it's also valid in many cases, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have a lot of money and who can't buy every new game that comes out, and who need the games they buy to provide longevity for them, to make it worthwhile. And, you know, that's a perfectly valid situation to be in. And this one, I think it makes a very compelling case for itself in terms of time and money. You can really put a lot of time into this and have barely scratched the surface, which has been the case with me. So really, if you like roguelikes, you absolutely owe it to yourself to try this. Even if you don't, though, give it a look. This is something that I feel like I have a couple of friends who like watching me cover roguelikes, but don't really like the genre on its own. But because this has so many other things in it, it has the bullet hell elements, it has the the creature collecting elements, it has the base elements and stuff. I could see this being appealing to people who even don't traditionally enjoy that genre, because it's not just a roguelike, it's so much more. And I think that the fact that it can transcend, the potentially transcend the usual fans of the genre, I think is a very compelling thing in and of itself. And yeah, I really hope this gets more attention, and I really hope we see it in more places, because it is something special indeed. So yeah, that is Patch Quest. I mean, I haven't even talked about, there's also perks that you can get in this. You have an explorer level that you'll level up by getting things, and you can get these different perks as well that will give you significant bonuses. I mean, there's just so much here. I'd be here all day if I wanted to talk about in detail everything that this does well. But this is a fantastic game in general, and as roguelites go, it's one of the best I've played in a very long time. It's a delight, and I highly recommend checking it out. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. If you liked what you saw here, please do all the normal YouTube things. Those do help the channel out a great deal. And leave a comment down below. Tell me, what do you think of this? Are you someone who's not normally into roguelikes, and does this maybe interest you a little bit? Seeing what it does. Or what other there's 1,000,001 roguelites these days, so what are some other ones that you like? I'd always love to hear about those, because there's lots of different stuff out there. And as always, you can follow me over at twitch.tv/pxabstraction for multiple variety streams a week. I cover other indie games as well as retro stuff there, including a bunch of things that are better suited to streaming than YouTube. We have a fantastic community there, and I would love to see you be a part of it. Thanks again all, and I'll see you on the next Indie Ramble. You folks have yourselves a good one. Take her easy.